week one of the fantasy football season, and here's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers this week. The first one, the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons, they start at home this week here versus the Carolina Panthers. And this Panther team, they could be out with a few players on this team. Adam Thielen could be out for this ball game. DJ Chark, he could be out as well. And it's pretty much going to be Bryce Young and Miles Sanders trying to figure it out on the offense over here with young rookie Jonathan Mingo and the youngster Terrace Marshall as well in the offense. So right now, I think this Falcon team could obviously take advantage of inexperienced players and young players who are bound to make mistakes, but those guys do have some upside as well as the years are going to go on. But anyway, this Falcon defense, they play a little faster at home. Obviously, indoor ball game opener as well. And if their offense could get off to a good start, which I think it will with Bijan Robinson, and then make this offense one-dimensional for the Panthers, I think this defense could be a sleeper option this week over there as the Atlanta Falcons and have a decent ball game. And right now, they're available in 88% of fantasy leagues. The next defense sleeper is the New York Giants. I know on paper it's a tough matchup versus the Dallas Cowboys, but we also know Dak Prescott was a turnover machine last season. And this is a division ball game that I think it's going to be close. And to be honest, I think it'll be in the low 20s, like a 23-20 final or 27-20 type of final ball game between these two teams. So the Giants, we know their defense was middle of the pack last season, and we know their team also surprised as well last year, getting to the second round of the playoffs before the Philadelphia Eagles ran them off the field in that one quickly. But right now, this week, like I said, I know Dak Prescott, he's had the Giants number throughout his NFL career, but he has been a turnover machine, and it's a division ball game. Sunday Night Football, I think anything can happen. So if you want a real sleeper pick at the defensive position, I think the Giants could be that, and they're available 95% of fantasy leagues. And the third and final defense DST unit I have as a sleeper this week here is the Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings, they got a pretty good matchup on paper, and this could be a ball game where I could see the Vikings getting up early, 10-14-0 versus Tampa Bay Buck team, and where they got to force Baker Mayfield to try to beat them. And we know Baker Mayfield, he struggled over the last few seasons after he had a good rookie year in Cleveland, but besides that, we really haven't seen much. And now he's bounced around with 4 teams in 2 seasons, going from the Browns, going to the Panthers, with the Rams at the end of last season, and now here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we know this Minnesota Viking team, when they get a big lead, they start teeing off, especially at home, and this is a home game for this Viking team. So right now, with all those factors I mentioned, and that they're available surprisingly in 91% of fantasy leagues, I think this Viking team, they could get a few sacks here on Baker. Their offensive line's not so great and banged up as well. And also Baker, you know, he's good for a turnover or 2 per ball game pretty much. That's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers here for week 1 of the fantasy football season.